Click the first link in the description for the best Askreddit content. Today I fucked up by shoving something in my ear that shouldn't have been there. First off, hooray, my first today I fucked up. It's a minor one, but I think it definitely deserves the title. That said, onto the show. So my ears itch a lot. Not the utter fleshy part, no, that would be too easy. The itch I feel is in the ear canals. And yes, that's plural, both ear canals. I don't know what causes it. It might be wearing headphones or earbuds too much. It may be that my job requires frequent use of a phone, but whatever it is, my ears frequently drive me a little crazy. My doctor has looked at them in the past and pretty much shrugged, so I've just been dealing with it. One way I've been dealing with it is by scratching inside my ears with whatever is handy, usually the legs of my glasses, but I'm not picky. Just about anything that will fit in there and not leave anything behind can and probably will be used at some point. The best way I can describe the resulting feeling is with those "sex is great, but" memes. It feels incredible. I can totally understand why dogs thump their legs when you get that good belly scratch going into just the right spot. And yes, I know it's bad for me and I shouldn't do it, but you're reading this on Today I Fucked Up. The sub where impulse control is something that happens to other people. Anyway, today, yes, today, I was sitting at my desk and felt that familiar itchy feeling. Annoyed, I glanced around for something usable, and spotted one of the click pens I'd accidentally taken home from work. You know the type, cheap ballpoint pens that come 24 to a box with a clicker, a pocket clip, and not much else. I used the clicky end rather than the business end. My mama didn't raise no fool, and dug into my right ear. Did its job admirably, and then I switched to lefty. Oh my god. The relief from this scratching was one of the best sensations I've ever felt. I really worked it in there, swirled it all around, scratched all over. I was in heaven. I knew I was probably doing some damage, but damn it, in the moment, I didn't care. This knockoff Bic pen was taking me to new heights of oral ecstasy. Finally, I pulled it out of my ear with a satisfied sigh. Now, when you give an itchy spot anywhere on your body a good scratch, there's always a little burning sensation afterward, because, you know, you're fucking up your skin and the nerve endings below it. I stuck my big stupid finger in my left ear, pulled it out, felt something sticky and froze. My finger was much darker than it had been when I put it in. Panicked, I ran to the bathroom and confirmed my fear. I blew myself. I was paying the price for my decadence and lack of caution. The inside of my left ear was coated with blue ink, and my fingertips looked like I'd just finished a third base reaching date with Smurfette. Fortunately, the ink was confined entirely to my ear canal, except where my fingers had gotten it, so I didn't look like a total mess, but it took a good shower and a few Q-tips to get most of the fionke juice out of my ear. I am now cleaned out, and hoping that I don't have to post a Today I Fucked update later that involves me seeking medical attention and getting that look from the poor doctor or NP that has to deal with my dumbass. Too long didn't read. Scratched my itchy ear with a pen. Pen exploded inside my ear, leaving it looking like it had been raw-dogged by Papa Smurf. Thank you so much for this entertaining Today I Fucked Up. I'm sorry you've got itchy ears. That must be so annoying on a daily basis. Haha, your expression in the picture, Lamau. That was a shit moment. You need to get one of those ear endoscopes so you can make sure a roach or spider isn't living in there. That was my biggest fear, but when my doc checked after weeks of the itch, I was pretty convinced that nothing's nesting in there, especially considering it's in both ears. I think if I had an insect/spider in there, it would go past annoying and into the realm of maddening. Love the Arrested Development reference. I couldn't let the moment pass. There are worse places to shove things. Username checks out? Oh god, I hope not. Today I fucked up by dry humping with my GF and tearing my frenulum. Not today, yesterday, mobile, non-native English speaker, sorry. I am 21. It wasn't our first time dry humping, but this one was getting really intense since it was our last date before university and things got really fast and furious. I was feeling some rash in my penis area but thought nothing about it since I was enjoying the moment and didn't want to ruin the mood. When we finished I turned the lights on and surprise, my shorts were full of blood. And not a small puddle, like a 20 centimeters, sorry not sorry Americans, diameter stain of blood. My underwear even worse. Needless to say, I started to freak out. I couldn't arrive home in those shorts and even my shirt got some blood in it. Meanwhile, my girlfriend, which was also scared for me, asked me if I wanted to leave the car and get some fresh air as I was getting pale AF. I obliged, and as I stood up, started to feel really weak, maybe due to the blood lost. I inspected my material but couldn't see much besides blood everywhere. As I was feeling very lightheaded, I lay down in the middle of the road as my girlfriend was talking to my half-naked body and saying I should go to the hospital and tell me parents about it. Now, my parents are usually really reasonable people, but we never ever talk about sexual stuff. I could never tell them the truth, but I could never get home with those bleed shorts on or I would get busted. I replied no multiple times to my girlfriend, although I know she just wanted me to get better. Finally, I started to feel slightly better and decided to stand up and try to find a solution. When I was 15 and started masturbating, once I did it too roughly and ended up tearing my frenulum and bled a bit. It healed pretty fast back then, but, as a curious and smart kid, I did some research back then and found out that it was common among short frenulumed men to tear it when exposed. The skin gets exposed to stressful conditions. My first conclusion was that it might have been it and shouldn't be that bad. Once I cleaned it up, that zone has a lot of blood vessels and those must be the cause of such severe bleeding. Since I wasn't feeling that much pain and the adrenaline of the moment was running out, which also made me realize that my near pass out was probably caused by the shock of seeing all that blood. My GF was also worried of arriving late home because her parents are super religious, and if they even thought we did anything non-appropriate before marriage, that would put her in a pretty bad position. I made an effort and, since we were already near her house, I dropped her off and promised to update her of every step I took and called her during my car drive. Along the way, I called my best friend and told him everything that happened. He suggested I could come to his house and I thanked him a lot. His mother is a nurse and he got her help to get an opinion on the matter without me having to embarrass myself and have to see his mother face to face. He got my new clothes and gave me a towel to take a shower and clean myself. Okay, I will be a bit explicit now, but I have to describe how disgusting and hurtful it was to clean. My glands was totally covered in blood, and when I removed the first layer of fresh blood there were some dark red blood clots still covering the majority of the glands. Pushed the foreskiners back so I could reach the blood clot and remove it, and, oh boy, it hurt so much. It was not the worst pain I ever felt, but it was like removing a needle from my penis, a really sharp, warm pain. I cleaned the rest, found the cut and applied a cream to help the healing process and a bandage around my penis. Dressed up, thanked my friend again and went back home. When I arrived I crossed by my dad, so thank God I went to my friend's. Changed to my pajamas and went to sleep. I woke several times during the night, not of pain but worried that it wouldn't heal or get worse. But today I read several articles about frenulum tear and have been extremely careful of cleaning my penis after every time I pee to avoid a bacterial or viral infection. The pain is just a numb 2/10 right now, with some sudden sharp moments when I touch it to clean up, but I'm feeling much better, and thankfully, besides my clothes, I didn't drop a single blood drop on the car. I hope no other guy out there have to pass through this. I was in poorly conditions and away from home, but, at least I hope, it isn't the end of the world, and after a week I hope to get the courage to touch myself again. Too long didn't read. Dry humping with my girlfriend, teared my penis frenulum in the back seats of my car, staining my shorts with blood. Drove GF back home, went to friend's house to take a shower and change clothes and went back home with a bandaged penis. Edit, first of all, thanks everyone for the kind words, especially to the kind stranger that gave me my first award. I never thought it would be so hard and painful to get one of those. Also, turns out there are a lot of "today I fucked up tearing my frenulum" posts. if it ever happens to you, at least to me, reading those make me feel less lonely. I can't imagine what you tear actually having sex. Dude, I've never cringed so much reading something, and not even in a bad way, just trying to imagine the pain and the entire situation. It reached first place on my cringe scale with a huge margin to top second. Thanks for the empathy, dear friend. You pooping, and thank you for an odd educational item. Thought the word frenulum referred only to the membrane that connects the bottom side of your tongue to the floor of your mouth. Just learned it is a general term for a small fold or ridge of tissue that limits the motion of another body part. I hope you heal quickly, friend. Ah, you tore your banjo string. Ouch. A friend of mine did that once. Small advice for you, man: if it bothers you, maybe look into getting a small surgery for that. Short frenulum can be a bit of a pain, and after a 10-minute surgery and 3 religiously innocent weeks it was quite a bit more comfortable. Luckily I never tore mine like that, but I cringed really hard reading that, cause I know where you're coming from. Good luck with the healing. Physical and mental, haha. Thank you. I read a bit about frenulum surgery and decided that, if during sex it happens again, or even starts to hurt, I'm totally having it. Needless to say, no more dry humping, but TBH I'm way more sad because I ruined our weekend together at her studio apartment at the university. Oh well, Netflix and fondling is good as well. Today I fucked up by making my neighbor think I'm an abusive husband. This actually happened about a week ago. I'm typing this on my phone, so apologies for any errors. My wife recently went on a night out with her sister and asked her to hold on to her house keys as she only had a small handbag and didn't want to carry them. She then forgot to take her keys back when the night was over. Fast forward to the next day. My wife is currently working from home, so she asked me not to take my keys with me as it would leave her locked in the house. As expected, I completely forgot and out of habit took my keys with me. Apparently during the day a neighbor knocked on the door to pass on a package that got delivered to their address. My wife had to explain through an open window that she could not open the door as my husband has taken the keys and locked me in. Apparently the neighbor reacted weirdly to this, but my wife didn't think anything of it. The following week my wife and I went out to do some shopping. We jumped in the car, but, on the way, remembered we had forgotten our face masks, so we turned around and headed home to get them. In the UK, like probably a lot of places at the moment, you're required to wear a face mask when entering a shop. I said I'd run into the house to get them and locked the car out of habit. I didn't actually lock my wife in as she can open the door from the inside, but it remains locked if trying to open it from the outside. I always do this and didn't think anything of it until I saw my neighbor in her garden staring at me. Again, I didn't think anything of it until I returned back to my car and my wife told me that the neighbor was mouthing "Are you okay?" to her. Then it hit me. This was the second time my neighbor had seen my lock my wife inside. He now thinks I'm a controlling, abusive husband, and I don't know if I should go round and explain what had happened or leave it. My wife thinks all this is hilarious. Too long didn't read. I locked my wife in the house and the car and my neighbor noticed. Now she thinks I'm abusing my wife and that I'm a controlling husband. Edit: a few people are asking about opening the door from the inside. The lock to open the door is the same for the inside as it is on the outside. I usually just leave my key in the inside lock when I'm in the house so I can open the door quickly and take the key out with me. Now that it's been mentioned, it does definitely sound like a fire hazard, but I've never questioned it. We rent our house, so it's not something I really want to fix myself, but I probably should have a word with our landlord. This is funny as heck. Think you and your wife should go explain it together if it bothers you. D. I'm glad it made you laugh. Smile. I'll have to mention it to her, I think, as I don't want her thinking anything's wrong. If you go with your wife to explain, it might look like you are strong-arming her into it. I would ask your wife to do it by herself, if I were you. And once this is all cleared up, maybe make her a pie or something as a thank you for looking out for your wife. A+ neighbor for checking on her. Switch it up next time. Get your wife to lock you in the car while the neighbor's watching. Side note, domestic abuse is serious. If anyone is concerned that a person is being abused, please report it to the authorities. You could save a life. Better 10 false reports with good intent than 1 life lost. I absolutely agree. It's nice our neighbor showed concern, but we haven't heard anything from her in the last week. I'm half expecting a knock on the door from the police after being reported. Why don't you leave a set of spare keys in the house? Useful for when you are in a hurry and misplaced your keys, for example. Definitely a good idea. We'll sort this out ASAP. I'm wondering why they'd make a door/lock you can't get out of, from the inside / without a key. And all the doors are like that? It's a hazard.